Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, and coming at you today with a VeVe Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, smashing that super thanks button down below. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we also have Paramount. I don't want this to be a crazy long video, and if you didn't want to watch my last 3-hour live, I'll try to shorten it for you. If you did, you probably don't need to watch this video, but there's a bunch of licenses that Paramount has. Now, if you go on the Paramount app, you have Tulsa King, you have Scorpion, they have a bunch of really cool IPs that are there, and having some of those IPs on the VeVe app would be great. I think that MTV, which I think that the last episode of MTV, the last thing airs in like December of this year. So they're like gone after that, which is wild. So I don't know if they would be into any type of, like, if we can get the two-headed dog, if we can get the spaceman for the MTV Awards, that would be, I would totally buy those. That'd be great. But what I want to talk about is, again, if you want to watch TMNT stuff, watch my last 3-hour podcast, watch the new podcast with Michelle Ivy on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan in the world. Can't wait to go get her on. But the other IPs, the list is quite a lengthy one. For the live action shows, it might have started with like Hey Dude or like My Brother and Me, or like there's a bunch of live action ones on Nickelodeon, but a really popular one that we all remember was All That. Kind of gave rise to Kenan Thompson, Mikkel Mitchell, and they had Kenan and Kel on after that. All That had Amanda Bynes as well. They had that spawned the Amanda Show, which that had Drake Bell and Josh Peck on, which spawned Drake and Josh. And they had Miranda Cosgrove as Megan on there, which spawned iCarly, which they had Shelby Marks on there, played by Victoria Justice, and that spawned Victorious, which spawned Sam and Cat. It goes on like a 25-year thing. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the live action shows, and all of those IPs that I mentioned could be on VeVe at some point because they hashtag Paramount in their tweet. But I think most people watched Nicktoons. Now, how many Nicktoons are there? I finally found it on Wikipedia. Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, Our Real Monsters, Hey Arnold, Kablam, Angry Beavers, Cat Dog, Oh Yeah Cartoons, Wild Thornberry, SpongeBob SquarePants, Rocket Power, As Told by Ginger, Fairly Odd Parents, Invader Zim, Action League Now, Chalk Zone, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, All Grown Up, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Danny Phantom, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Cat Scratch, The X's, El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera, Attack and the Power of Juju, Back at the Barnyard, Mighty Bee, Penguins of Madagascar, Random Cartoons, Fun Boy and Chum Chum, Planet Sheen, Tough Puppy, Winx Club, Kung Fu Panda, Legend of Korra, Robot Monster, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Monsters and Aliens, Sanjay and Craig, Breadwinners, Harvey Breaks, Pig Goat, Banana Cricket, The Loud House, Bunsen is a Beast, Welcome to the Wayne, The Adventures of Kid Danger, Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pinky Malinky, The Cast Grenades, It's Pony, Glitch Text, Camp Coral, Rugrats Again, Patrick Star Show, Middlemost Post, Star Trek Prodigy, Big Nate, Monster High, Transformers, Earth Spark, Rock, Paper, Scissors, Fairly Odd Parents, A New Wish, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Again, Max and Midnights, Wild Pack, and then miniseries and upcoming stuff. Again, there's literally 66 of those that I just mentioned. Some of them the same titles. Legend of Korra is a spinoff of Avatar: The Last Airbender. They had a couple of the stuff that they had with Transformers. I think they have Hasbro, or I think Hasbro has them, and maybe they license them out for Nickelodeon for whatever reason. I'll go over that at some other point. It's still playing. Came on November 22nd, or November 2022. It's still playing. That'd be cool if we can get them. Would much rather have Hasbro, because then we have G.I. Joe and Transformers and My Little Pony. But that's a whole other video. This is not as big as Nintendo, but guys, just Doug in general. Just the number one, that I don't know why that's the number one show there. I guess it's just because it premiered in '94. I'm sorry, no, this premiered in August 11th of '91. So Ren and Stimpy, Doug, and Rugrats all came out, 34 years ago. I feel old. And the final dates for Doug was '94, for Ren and Stimpy was '95, and Rugrats was 2004. But Just from those three in general, Doug, that was a great show. I learned a lot from that show growing up. Ren and Stimpy, you didn't really watch to learn. That was just something that you watched because they were funny with the quotes like "idiot" and "you sick little monkey." Like, that was great. Rugrats were cool, and honestly, some of that stuff I watched some reason that really holds up. They have a lot of adult jokes in there. It's like, I didn't get that when I was a kid. That is great. Something about booty juice, hysterical. Just from, let's say, from Doug. You have Doug, his sister Judy, Pork Chop's igloo doghouse. You have the parents that nobody really cared about. You have Mr. and Mrs. Dink, that were the neighbors. You had Roger the bully and his gang, and you had Patty Mayonnaise. You had Skeeter. Like, there was a couple of interesting characters that I would totally get. Not all of them, but I would get Doug, Patty, and Skeeter. Maybe Roger, like boogers at him. I didn't really like him. BB, and then the BB Valentine and her dad. He was. I feel like the creators of that show really hated capitalism. Rugrats. Phil and Lil, Tommy, Chucky. We're going to ignore Dill for now. Didn't like, even though he was played by Tara Strong, who voiced a lot of these characters in a lot of these shows. Didn't really like that character. Stu and Dee Dee were great. Drew and Charlotte Pickles were great. The grandpa was great. Susie Carmichael and her family, that was awesome. They had a bunch of really cool things there. You could have drops from Doug maybe for like a year, once a month for a good 6 to 8 months. Rugrats, you could have drops in there once a month for like 2 years, and they have different things. Like, you would just have the babies, and then you could have like, okay, Tommy's screwdriver. Now, granted, we already had some Rugrats NFTs with Recur. We all saw how that went. I'm going to give a very short version of this. Why haven't we seen anything from Rugrats, Riptar, Hey Arnold, after the fall of Recur? There was probably some type of cooling off period in which nobody was allowed to do that for X amount of years. Maybe that's coming to a close. Anyway, Rugrats, you could probably have 2 years of that. Ren and Stimpy, there's Buttered Toast Man. There's a bunch of those characters. I don't know how many people would care. Ren and Stimpy, obviously they would get, but the other side characters, I just don't know how many of them would really sell. So maybe a couple months with that. But Rugrats, you really have a lot. You have the Dummy Bears or Gummy Bears, whatever they were called. Just even the side characters in Rugrats were pretty cool, and I think people would get that. Next on the list is Rocko's Modern Life. If I went through all of these, we'd be here for 6 hours. And if they ever confirm that we have all the Nickelodeon stuff, I'll do a 6-hour live stream. Rocko's Modern Life, you have Rocko, you have Heifer, you have Filbert. Heifer being like the adopted cow raised by wolves. Filbert being the kind of smart turtle. He eventually gets engaged to this cat-like creature. Rocko has Spunky. Seems like Doug. They had Pork Chop for Rugrats. They had Spike for Rocko's Modern Life. They have Spunky. So each one of these shows has like a dog in them. In Ren and Stimpy, Ren's a Chihuahua. Doesn't look like one. He looks like a demented, very sick thing, but he's a Chihuahua. And again, Rocko's Modern Life, you have that Spunky the dog. And anyway, there's a ton of characters. Rocko's Modern Life, you could Mr. and Mrs. Big Head. They were probably fun. You could probably do another 6 months to a year of drops with them as well. They had a reboot, not a reboot of Rocko's Modern Life, like a newer, like a movie thing. I think Mr. and Mrs. Big Head's son, or now daughter, like kind of comes out as transgender. I don't know if VeVe wants to embrace something like that or stay away from it. Might be best to stay away from that for right now. See where, there's a lot of friction, a lot of, I forget the word of that, a lot of strife in that area for right now. Go woke, go broke. Anyway, next on the list is Our Real Monsters. I kind of vaguely remember that. I remember the 3 main monsters, and then the one dude that looked like he was wearing high heels, had extra arms. That was cool as well. They had a crossover with Rugrats at one point in a Halloween special. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Why don't they do crossovers more? I want to see them interact. But the next one on the list is Hey Arnold. And that one, oh my God. And again, obviously, this is not something that they've confirmed that they have. This is just, they tagged Paramount. Paramount has all of these IPs. It would make sense that we can get them. Hey Arnold was such a good show. I actually still rewatch that every couple years. Because, like, one, to view certain things with a different perspective, and it doesn't have to be, yeah, as a kid versus adult perspective. It could be, when did this come on? This came on in 96, so I was 5. And it lasted till 04, till I was 13. And watching that as a kid growing up, and then as a late teen, and then early, young adult, early 20s, again, there's always something new that I find with it, and the characters are phenomenal. Like, this is how I knew Recur was going down, and I made a whole video about it. It was because they didn't take care of the IP. It's not they had Phoebe Heyerdahl as like Phoebe Heyerda. I was like, that's not Hired, it's Heyerdahl, you mother flappers. And they had Rhonda Wellington Lloyd, not Ms. Rhonda Wellington Lloyd. They went through a whole episode where she became a proper lady with Big Patty. They just messed up so, and same thing with Rugrats. They messed up too many things. Like, you're not taking care of the IP. VeVe knows how to take care of this IP, and they will get it right. And if they have any questions, I'm here, because I'm literally an expert in this. I did nothing when I was younger. From the time of like 5 to like 11, maybe 12, it was all cartoons all the time. And then 12 happened, and the good life started happening. Anyway, Hey Arnold, they could do. There's so many dynamic characters in there. Curly is like the crazy one that you'll want. Obviously, everyone would want Arnold, the football head. They would want Helga. That just, God, the amazing poetry that she would write. And some of the adult stuff that would be snuck in there is wild as well. And, her mom's a drunk and her dad's this big business dude. And, there's this question of like abuse there. And is like, they never physically hit her, I don't think, but they emotionally, and apparently nowadays emotional is just as bad as hitting. I don't know. That's a whole new thing for me. But just the Pataki dynamic in that show was probably more interesting. I don't know, Arnold's boarding house where Mr. Wynn goes country, dude. There's, I still jam out to that song. The Simple Things. It's on YouTube. Just YouTube Mr. Wynn, The Simple Things, or Simple Things, Hey Arnold. Such a good song. If they have the music right, how on earth VeVe got the music rights for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Rights that is insane. They could do that. I'm sure they could get it for The Simple Things for Hey Arnold. Then Gerald and his family is interesting. Again, the boarding house that Hey Arnold has, like, they could do a drop every month for at least 2 years with Hey Arnold, if not more. And there's a bunch of other ones that I could go over with here, but we're already at 13 minutes. If they ever do announce, like, hey, we have Nickelodeon, we have Paramount, I will do a 6-hour live stream and we'll go over all of it. They already have so many licenses. If I had let's say if I had like $20 million and I wanted to start a digital collectibles company, because that's my thing. I'm a big collector. I know all of these shows like the back of my hand, and I wanted to try to get licenses. I would probably think about it for a while, and I would come to the conclusion that it would be counterproductive. It would be an uphill battle. Like, there's not anything that I could do that wouldn't be counterproductive because of the fact that VeVe's such a behemoth in this space. I would never want to compete against them. My goal, if I were to do that, would be to somehow get licenses that they don't have, that people care about in some way, build an audience. It would be to be big enough for so long that VeVe would want to buy me, but again, they wouldn't, because anyone that I could get to buy my digital collectibles would probably be from the VeVe fam anyway, and VeVe they could pull a Michael Scott, and they could be like, okay, listen, you guys, and I'm just gonna make up a company here. Let's say like Corona decides to go in and make digital collectibles company. It's like, okay, Corona, you're bleeding money, and you have IP leaving you left and right. Your users are leaving you left and right. You're losing more money than you're making. You're net negative on this. I don't need to buy you when most of your customers are already my customers anyway. I could just wait until you die, until I could either buy the company for super cheap, or I could just talk to the licensors and have them back the truck up and go to me, assuming like they did with Recur. This VeVe's won this decade. I've said this since like early 2021, and this is just further proof. Anyway, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, and everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love this game.